chambers, and in case you're wondering what it is, it's a Gemini beneath all that. Very heavily disguised, aren't they, John Sheppard?
Yes, it's fairly difficult to recognise that car as being a Gemini, as you say.
Now, thank you for joining us, Allan Grice. This is for the Sports Sedan Final. You've driven devices like this. In fact, your Chevy Monza isn't that far removed, only maybe a bit more powerful. Difficult cars to drive, this sort of machine?
A little bit difficult, particularly when the day is so cold. It takes a little while to get the tyres cold because, you know, the suspensions should be pretty good, and it takes a while to get some heat into the tyres and get the things to turn in.
It seemed that in the early laps you had just that problem. You seemed to be working much harder at the wheel at the beginning than towards the end.
Yes, it's the suspension on the Monza works very well, and takes a while to get the heat into them.
We only have 5 seconds to go. Robin Torana, Bob Jolly on the front row. The green light comes on. This is the Sports Sedan Final at Calder Park, and side by side the two front row men, Robin Doherty in a Torana, Bob Jolly in a Commodore, go into the first corner, and that's the way they go into the corner. And a good start from Tino Leo, who started 2 rows back in the big Monaro. It's Doherty who goes to the lead in the Torana. He was quicker in practice yesterday by 0.6 of a second than Jolly. And look at Leo coming up on the inside. He's going to squeeze the Commodore out. He goes into second spot, right behind Doherty. It was Leo who donated his car earlier in the day to the Mercedes driver, Brian
Thompson.
Brian
Yes,
Thompson.
I was just wondering then whether perhaps Brian may still be in the car. But
he's driving like Brian Thompson.
Well, Tino sometimes fires himself up, and to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure whether that's a characteristic position for him or not. But he's certainly going very, very well.
I did notice as I came back through the dummy grid, John, it was Tino in the car.
Tino?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well. So he's driving like a demon.
I wasn't aware that Brian Thompson drove in the race, actually.
Yes, what happened was, you wouldn't have seen, you're on the pole position, but what happened was the turbo blew up in his Mercedes, and he had a previous arrangement to take over Tino's car. That happened. Going a little wide there, much wider than he would have meant to do, is Ian Jones in XU1. Still, it's Robin Doherty in the Torana leading Tino Leo in the Monaro. 10 laps is the distance. They've covered 1.5. Car number 2, Mick Monterosso in the Escort, has gone wide there in a rather perilous state in the race. He comes back, forces other traffic to slow down. Oh, here we have Alderman Gill.
We'll have to get, yes, we'll have to get Stephen up there to get some comments from him.
Bob Gill in the Mustang.
Yes, no. Yeah, so I think, Stephen, you should stick your microphone in Gilly's face and have him make some pithy comments for us. I'm sure you'll get some controversial remarks from him. Don't worry if he wants to go out, just stop him.
How much water's in it? How much water's in it?
Nothing in the top.
There'll be enough. There'll be enough.
I think we could agree, John Sheppard, that he's a very enthusiastic competitor.
Yes, I think if, as he's saying, there's enough water in it, I'm off.
Well, the mechanics say there's none there, and he said there's enough.
Yeah, none's enough, that's right. Yeah. Obviously in big trouble because it's spilt water all over the windscreen because he's got his wipers going, but that doesn't worry Gilly. He's going to get out there and have a finish if he can.
Back at the front of the race, there's a real three-corner battle going on here, isn't there, Allan Grice, with Robin Doherty in the Torana, just in front of Tino Leo in the Monaro, and Bob Jolly has brought the Commodore back again. This is a real threesome.
And another overtaking manoeuvre there, and he's done it, but Leno's trying to go inside. Actually, I noticed in the braking area that Tino hasn't got any brake lights, so perhaps that's a little fox.
Really? But the message, by the way, we get from Stephen Phillips is that the radiator cap is off the Mustang of Bob Gill, which is why he's losing water. Well, Tino Leo dragging the tail. You say there are no brake lights showing on the back of his car?
No, that's right. They don't seem to be working at all, and maybe it's just an oversight or a malfunction, or maybe he's just making it a little difficult in the braking areas for the other guys. It's been done before.
I couldn't imagine anyone doing a thing like that, Allan.
Well, I know at Sheppard Bathurst in a two-car team who had a switch for the brake lights on and off.
Well, a change of leadership, I think, as Jolly goes through on the inside, but Doherty's hanging on the outside, and he persists. That's a brave line out there. We saw Peter Fitzgerald keeping abreast of Colin Bond in the last race. It's not the place to go, is there, Allan Grice, as we watch Bob Gill bring the Mustang back in again. Maybe this time he'll get the radiator cap on. But that outside line through the test bench is a very difficult line to follow.
Yes, indeed. At their side by side again, this will be good at the braking area. Still, I prefer to have the inside line.
Why do so many go wide on the outside for this bend?
Well, I don't know. It's some people believe that the correct line for that corner is right out wide, but I think it's such a wide entry that it really doesn't matter all that much. These guys are sort of a lot of feinting and shadow boxing going on. I hope they leave it at that.
Yes, well, Robin Doherty is making a Torana the widest Torana in the business, isn't he?
Yes,
not unfairly. He's just putting it in the place where it makes it most difficult to overtake.
Yes, certainly.
Once again, by the way, Bob Gill is in the pits. Let's see if Stephen can get some words from him now.
Well, not enough to get around?
Not enough, mate. She's well off the gauge. I've had a ripper weekend. Yesterday we ran out of fuel because there was none here, unfortunately. And today we put in 8 gallons, and it just was 2 gallons too short in the last championship race. Today the boys checked the water, and
well, they just said not enough.
Just not enough.
Thanks, Bob.
Well, there we are. I was quite sure we'd get some sort of happy-go-lucky comments from Bob.
He certainly. Oh, there's a spin there. There was a touch there, surely, Allan Grice.
Yeah, well, it didn't really. We didn't see it. I think maybe slow motion will turn it up. But,
now, has he done damage there? It was a very gentle kiss into the fence, but it's enough, I think, to put Bob Jolly well and truly out of the race. But it seemed that he went wide through someone else's attention.
Yes, looks like the 2 left-hand wheels got a bit of an angle on them, but they were very drastic stuff. They were side by side down the straight, and side by side through the corner at the end of the straight, and came out.
Oh no!
He just lost it all by himself, by the way.
Just braking.
I didn't think there was a touch. But
so he just left his braking to such a desperately late moment that when he did apply the brakes,
yes,
away it went.
Sometimes a guy will get himself all steeled up for a desperate late braking manoeuvre, and by doing that he'll become all tense and virtually pull the car off the road.
Now it's up to Tino Leo in the Monaro, who's in a very close second spot. Monterosso and the escort coming into the pits. It's a busy place down there, Stephen Phillips. Stephen's probably up the far end, trying desperately to get warm. I would think he could do with a turbocharger himself. What's the story there, Stephen?
I'll ask Mick himself. What's the problem?
I missed the gear and I've over-revved it. So I just turned it off.
You looked anything but happy. I think the face tells the story, Evan.
It does indeed, Stephen. A nice, honest answer. He just over-revved it. Not happy. He's got an expensive job to do. 2 laps to go of the race in its last phases. And it's Leo who's now challenging Doherty. He's made up ground. He's going on the inside.
Quite serious about the whole thing. Whoops.
And in fact...
I think that took Doherty by surprise. And I think he might have thought it was all his little corner until Tino stuck his nose in like that.
I think the overtaken car probably complicated things for everyone too.
Yes, Bill Emeny in the XU1 was there, and he was delighted to get the chance to pass one of the leaders. He's back now behind them and 1 lap behind. But it's Tino Leo about to get the last lap board. He's just about to pass John Watson's Jaguar down the straight.
He's done that well too. He was certainly sitting in third, and it was all happening in front of him, and I think he chose to let that go on for a while. And he's made his mind up and taken the chances as they came, and he's done it well.
It's been a good tactical race by Tino Leo. He's had brake problems. We've seen him smoking the brakes a lot. But now he's got a pretty substantial lead, and I don't think that Doherty can hold it back.
No, he's got it there. That was a very conservative line into the corner. He's looked strong under brakes, actually, all through the race, although he has had the odd lock-up at the front, but the motor car obviously does stop very well.
So Robin Doherty, who for so long dominated this race, looks like he's going to finish in second spot. The checkered flag is ready, and it'll be Tino Leo in the Monaro who gets it. Yes, he wins the Sports Sedan Final. Doherty comes across the line in second spot, and in third place it will be car number 42, car 42, Charlie Milner in a Torana. Fairway back, but that's the way they finish. Monterosso will be third, fourth rather, Chambers fifth, and Jolly will recover to take sixth place. Well, I think that Robin Doherty will be a bit disappointed with that. He would have thought that he was going to win, and he probably thought that the only man likely to challenge him was Bob Jolly. And when Jolly disappeared on that very late braking manoeuvre, lost traction for some reason, he might have thought he had the race in his keeping. But this man, Tino Leo, who surrendered his
hands
car...
out the window there, Evan, having a bit of a wave in Doherty's car. I don't quite know what that's all about. See, it's still out.
Yeah.
No, it's on the slow down lap, that's why. Very observant. I thought it was a replay. What a clever boy.
Yeah, no, the race is over, and they're waving their thanks to the marshals. And it looks, in fact, as though in Doherty's case, he's just having a rest. He seemed a bit tired by the whole effort. It's been a good meeting, Allan Grice. Some good racing today.
Yes, I've seen quite a bit of it, and there has been some good racing. Certainly some incidents in the Mondial cars or the F1 cars. And
But let's just recount then a great win by Alfredo Costanzo in the third round of the Australian Formula One Championship, which takes him to the head of the point score. A very disappointing drive as far as you were concerned, Allan Grice, in the third round of the Australian GT Championship. You had it won, you had 1 lap to go, and you ran out of fuel pressure.
yes,
We'll just look at the placings that last race. So a very disappointing day for you.
yes. They never won until you get that checkered flag. That's been said 100 times before, and it's certainly the case. But 1 lap to go, and we just lost fuel pressure, so that was the end of the story.
That's the way they finished.
Still, there's
that last
another
race.
3 to go, another 3 championship races.
Right. And of course, in the final of the $200,000 Bob Jane T-Mart Super Series, we saw a magnificent race with victory finally going to Peter Fitzgerald in the Mitsubishi Starion, just ahead of Colin Bond in the Alfa Romeo GTV, and another great battle for third place, which was finally resolved in Kevin Bartlett's favour, just beating Brian Sampson. Brian Sampson came second in the series. Peter Fitzgerald won it, of course, and took home $32,000 worth of prizes as the field just trickled back here at Melbourne International Raceway. Well, John Sheppard, thank you for joining us today. The rain has kept away. It's been a cold day, but some very hot racing.
Yes, it's been really excellent entertainment, I think, and the ones that had those close races, as you say.
Well, Allan Grice, your chances in the GT Championship still fairly strong with 3 more rounds to go.
Yes, I haven't looked at the points, but 3 to go, and I'm lucky to have the top car, so we'll keep at it.